Now we're just putting it all together. So you have to figure out what kind of problem you're looking at. So my suggestion to you guys, I'm going to keep this up here on my board, but this is the flow chart. It's a checklist that you want to go through when you come to these factoring problems. Okay, so in the chart, what's the first thing we're supposed to look for? Greatest common factor. Does number 1 have it? Okay, do I have, please listen. Do I have 2 terms or do I have 3? 2 terms. When it's 2 terms, I look to see if it's a difference of squares. Is it a difference? Are these both perfect squares? Yes. For those of you who keep saying no, difference is a minus sign, and since it's a minus sign, then yes, it's a difference. 9 and 25 are in our perfect square list, and the variable has an even exponent. So every time you find you've got a difference of squares, slap your 2 sets of parentheses down, one with a plus and one with a minus. What's the square root of 9x squared?
3x.
So 3x goes here and here. And what's the square root of 25?
5.
So 5 goes here and here. And then that's it. Okay, number 2. First thing I always look for is a GCF. Is there anything that goes into 36 and 1 besides 1? Nope. And then 2 terms or 3? 2 terms. So I look to see, once again, if it's a difference of squares. Is it a difference? Are these both perfect squares? Yep. So I slap my 2 sets of parentheses down, one with the plus, one with the minus. What's the square root of 36m squared? So 6m goes here and here. And what's the square root of 1? So 1 goes here and here. And that's it. Okay, I would like you to try number 5.
We're not going to end up doing this whole sheet. We're not going to end up.
We're gonna jump around a little bit.
What's jumping? Wait, which one? Oh,
Skipping, hopping.
I don't like. No.
Running, jumping.
It's a form of exercise.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's the new fad.
Ryan, you want to try my number 5?
Wait, is it plus or minus?
Yeah, or it could be minus and plus. It doesn't really matter. As long as you have a 1 plus and 1 minus. What was that? Keep going. Oh, I didn't know you said everything. Do you guys think you have it?
No.
So, this is what I'm expecting to see from a lot of you. And some of you might have this. How many of you have the one on the left?
You're a bunch of losers.
How many of you have the one on the right? Do you know which one you should have?
One on the right.
You should have the one on the right. What?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to show you how you can get from the left to the right. Okay, the very first day I taught you the GCF. I told you guys that it was the number 1 rule of factoring, but it's also the number 1 thing forgotten. So there is something that divides into 9 and 36. What's the biggest thing? 9. Okay, every time you find your GCF, you build your 1 set of parentheses behind it. 9 times what makes 9x squared? X squared. 9 times what makes a minus 36? Okay, on Friday I taught you sometimes, even though you have a GCF, you can keep going. So I'm going to cover that GCF up, and I'm going to try it again. Does this have a GCF? Yeah, nothing other than 1. And then 2 terms or 3? 2 terms. Is this a difference of squares? So 2 sets of parentheses, 1 with the plus and 1 with the minus. What's the square root of x squared?
Whatever you want it to be.
X. And what's the square root of 4?
Everything.
2. And Mr. GCF, drop him. Now, for those of you who wrote the other, I want to show you how you can get to the right answer, even though this is where you are. So, if everybody could please pay attention for a second. I always want you to pay attention, but I want to show you how you can fix it. If you ever have a GCF in your answer, you know you didn't get the GCF pulled out. If there's ever a GCF in your parentheses, when you think you're done, you actually need to pull that GCF out. And you could do it at the beginning like we did, or you can do it at the end. So like if I did it at the end, what's the greatest thing that goes into 3 and 6? 3. If I built my parentheses behind it, Audrey, can you even see?
Yes.
Really?
Where might she be?
3 times what gives you back that 3x plus 6? X plus 2. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, what's the GCF out of those two? At 3. If I pulled the 3 out, 3 times what gives that back to me? X minus 2. Do you see how this is all smushed together?
Yeah.
When it's all smushed, that means multiply. So I could start with multiplying the 3's. 3 times 3 makes 9, and then I can bring down the x plus 2 and the x minus 2. Is that the same thing as that?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter, quite honestly, if you pull the GCF out at the beginning or if you pull the GCF out at the end, but it has to get pulled out. So if you ever see that you have a GCF in the parentheses when you think you're done, you need to keep on going. My suggestion is always look for the GCF first, but if you don't notice it or you forget, you can fix it later. Okay, number 16. First thing we always look for is a what?
6.
Yes, number 6, sorry. First thing we always look for is a what? GCF.
Yeah.
Is there anything that goes into 16 and 81 evenly besides 1? No. Do they both have n's? Do they both have y's? Okay, so there's no GCF. Joseph and Michael, can you please make sure you're listening? Does number 6 have 2 terms or 3? 2 terms. So I want to see if it's a difference of squares. It's a difference. Are these both perfect squares? Okay, so take a moment and write down how you think it factors if you know that this is a difference of squares. Yeah, I've got a ton on here, right?
Yeah. Dang.
I know, good. All right, what'd you put?
4n plus 9y.
Good. And
4n minus 9y.
there it is. The difference of squares. That was the new guy that you learned today. You like the difference of squares?
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. Okay.
We should
Now, I'm not going to do all of these, and I'm not asking you to do all of these, but we're gonna do a decent amount.
Just
So-
for the evens.
Looking at number 7, first thing I always look for is a GCF. Does number 7 have a GCF? No. Okay, does this one have 2 terms or 3? Okay, when it's got 3 terms, what do we do next? A times C rooftop. So what does A times C give you? Negative 18. What do you want them to add to be? Negative 7. Okay, what 2 numbers multiply to be negative 18 and add to be negative 7?
Negative 9 and a negative, positive 2.
Good. A negative 9 and a positive 2. Is it the shortcut or do I have to do it the long way?
You got to do it the long way.
I have to do it the long way. Okay, so whenever it's the long one, I recopy the very first term, so I'm going to recopy the 3x squared. And for those of you still not knowing how to do this, make sure you're watching. Instead of using the minus 7x in the middle, I use these guys. So I would write
Minus 9x.
minus 9x, and I would write
2x.
a plus 2x, and then bring down the minus 6. So you recopy the first, you recopy the last, but instead of the middle guy, you use these just with x's behind them. Okay, this is when I start looking for GCFs out of the first 2 pieces. What's the greatest thing that goes into 3x squared minus 9x?
3.
3x. because they both have 1x. Every time you have a GCF, you always build parentheses behind it. 3x times what gives it back to you? X. X and a minus 3. Okay, then I look at the back 2. What's the greatest thing that goes into 2x minus 6? 2. What do you know needs to be in the parentheses? X minus 3. I come back. What kind of a 2 is he going to be? A positive 2. Okay, and then I've got one step left. Whatever's in both sets of parentheses, you write it once. So I would write a x minus 3. Whatever's left over. Okay, that's AC rooftop, A times C rooftop, the long one, or the long cut. How are you feeling about that guy?
I say
Because that's the one that most students struggle
8
with.
through 15 today, and tomorrow we can do
No.
16, 17, 18 for
Ju-
warm up.
Just relax.
The rest can be
Okay, let's go to 14. Number 14. First thing I always look for is a GCF. Does number 14 have a GCF? Nope. And then 2 terms or 3? 3 terms. So I'm going to do A times C rooftop. What's my A? What's my A? A 1. So what's A times C? Negative 18. What do I want them to add to B? Negative 7. Oh yeah, that's the same as the other one, right? Negative 9, positive 2. Can I do the shortcut or long way?
Totally.
Shortcut because of the 1 in front, so I would write.
X minus 9.
minus 9, and it's plus 2.
Okay, so you're going to find that the shortcut, really nice. Difference of squares, really nice. Okay, let's look at 15. First thing I always look for is a GCF. Does it have one?
Yes.
2x squared. They both have 2 x's. That's the greatest number of x's they both have. Okay, then every time I have a GCF, I build parentheses behind it. 2x squared times what makes 2x squared? 1. And 2x squared times what makes a positive 4x to the 6th?
4.
Okay. Every time we have a GCF, we're going to ignore him and try it all over again with the thing in parentheses. So the thing in parentheses, does it have a GCF? Nope. 2 terms or 3? 2 terms. If it's 2 terms, I look to see if it's a difference of squares. Is this a difference of squares?
No.
Then I'm done. If it was a difference of squares, I'd keep going. Because it's not a difference of squares, I stop. Okay. Let's look at...
Then we can have some free time.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's look at number 22.
Or not.
Okay, 22. First thing I always look for is a GCF. Does 22 have a GCF? A 3. Okay, build your parentheses behind it. So 3 times what makes 3x squared? X squared. 3 times what makes a negative 24x? Negative 8x. Beautiful. And 3 times what makes 45? 15. Okay, like the last problem. If we have a GCF, we're going to cover him up, and we're going to try it all over again. In the parentheses, do I have a GCF in there?
No.
2 terms or 3?
3.
3 terms. So now I'm into my A times C rooftop. What's my A here?
X squared.
A 1.
1.
So what is A times C?
15.
15. What do I want them to add to B? What does that?
Negative 5 and negative 3.
Good. A negative 5 and a negative 3. Can I shortcut?
Yes.
Yes, I can. So it's going to go x minus 5
3.
and x minus 3. And it doesn't matter which one's first. X minus 5 and x minus 3.
Yeah, you put a 3 across.
Good. And Mr. GCF, drop him like it's hot.
Oh, like me?
Look what I started.
Oh, I almost didn't have enough room on my paper to do number 14 because my
Okay. let's see here. I'm going to just kind of pick around. I want you guys to do number 11.
Number 11. Number 12.
I also want you to do 9. Okay, so on the front page, I want you to do 9 and 11. Okay, on the front page, I want you to do 9 and 11. On the back page, I want you to try 16, 17.
Whoa.
Hold up. Wait.
No, I'm not done. 19.
That's not funny.
Guys, that's not funny. 3 months, guys.
That should be good. 5 questions is probably like.
24.
No, that's too much.
IW dogs.
I'm not doing this one.
Okay, you have that so far? 16, 17, 19, 24?
9 and 11.
No, I got 2 more for you. 27,
Oh, that's up 2 more.
28.
There.
Oh, I really want to give you 29.
No, you
No,
don't.
you don't.
I really do, though.
No.
And 29.
No.
I'm not doing it. Nope.
I'm not doing it. I'm not
3, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 problems. Well, I'm hoping you can finish it before you go.
Oh, I'm hoping.
Whatever. If you don't finish it, it's homework. If you can finish the 9, then it's not homework.
It's against my nature. Oh, wait, what if it's not something where it's frogs? Yeah.
Yeah. If you already looked for the GCF and stuff. Okay, everybody has the 9?
What do we do?
Whoa, man. Are you talking about 9/11?
Sorry, that was my fault.
What?
That was me.
No.
Hey, what